See? You can tell because it's brown on the top. Alright, Big Bundt needs about 20 more minutes. Hey, today we're going to make an apple cake. It is a healthy bundt, breakfast bundt that you can make for your family, and we're going to start with 4 or 5 apples that are sliced up ahead of time, and a bundt cake pan that has been prepared ahead of time so that the batter won't stick to it. So we're going to start with 2 cups of sugar. Here's the sugar. You can use Splenda if you would prefer to use a sugar substitute. And then we add 1 cup of canola oil. Then we're going to add 2 eggs. Oops. And then we're going to stir the batter together. Stir those ingredients up with a whisk. Now we're going to add 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. You can just eyeball it, or you can actually use a tablespoon. You can add more if you like a lot of cinnamon, and we do, so a lot of cinnamon. And 2 cups of self-rising flour. And that's all there is to it. Again, this has the flour, the soda, and the salt in it, so you don't need those separate ingredients. Now it's going to be a little bit stiff, almost like a brownie batter, until you add the juice, or the wet ingredient, which is going to be apples, fresh apples. Again, you can choose different kinds of apples, and your cake will have different kinds of taste to it. Granny Smith will give you a tartar apple cake. We're using Gala apples or Honeycrisp, and that makes a sweeter cake. Okay, after you've mixed that up a little bit, we're going to take our apples, which are easily cut and cored by using an apple slicer. And you can even use them, you can even put the apples with the peeling on them in your batter. This is where you have to use a mixer, because the apples are so dense and the batter is so dense that it doesn't start to become like a cake batter until you add the apples, a few at a time. So I'm going to add a few and mix. Apples start to get crunched up, and again, I like mine dense with big pieces of apple in it, because this makes a nice breakfast bundt. Okay, and here goes the rest. See how the batter has become more like a cake batter? And that's all there is to it. Alright, we're just going to stir it up just a little bit and put it right into our bundt cake pan. Set our oven for 350. And if you have too much batter, you can have a little bundt pan put aside for your neighbor or for a friend, or just to have for yourself if you give the larger one away. That's what it should look like. Now with the extra you can make muffins, or you can make a smaller bundt, which is what we're going to do for breakfast. And then go the cake pans. Again, if you keep a tray underneath, then anything that drips will drip right into the pan, and you won't have to worry about anything burning off the oven. Okay, that's the bundt cake. We'll be back in a minute to take a look at what it looks like when we turn the cake out onto a plate. After you take the cake, remove the cake from the pan. You can dust it with powdered sugar like this, cut it into pieces and serve it, or you can wrap it up, put it in the refrigerator or freeze it, or just leave it out for everyone to consume. Remember that you can personalize this batter and add raisins to the batter before you cook it, before you bake the cake. There's some certain things that you might like to add to the apple taste that your family might enjoy, so feel free to do those things too, and happy eating.